Did you know Lionel Messi actually trialed with Barcelona before being signed by them? Having said that though, I am not about to argue for trials. Hello and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pilo, I am your host. This is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs Football Club. And in this video, I'll be giving an honest view from a fan's perspective, my perspective anyway, on the trial system. Yesterday I made a video about the pros and cons of trialing and I was kind of neutral in a way, but today I am pointing out ukuthi I am actually not against a trial, but I'm also against a trials. What am I saying? It sounds like I'm contradicting myself. Here's the thing. Any team in the world can have a trials. Teams have a trials in the world. However, that's not their main strategy to recruit talent into their team. I just made an example about Lionel Messi. Uguti at 13 years of age, he went to Barcelona and he had a trials with the Barcelona and eventually he got signed by Barcelona, right? But here, I am not talking about Uguti. Then Luis Suarez had to go to Barcelona to have a trials. Then Gerard Piqué went to Barcelona to have a trials. Oh, we Real Madrid, that's how they signed Ronaldo. It was a trials. Oh, that's how they signed Casemiro. All the players are being signed by a trials. No, that's not the case. Now someone will say, but Chiefs is not signing everyone ganjalo. But it seems like that's the case. We have a defender who's trialing. We have wingers who are trialing and who have been released as well. And we have strikers who have come and gone who are trialing. So it seems like now the main way of the recruitment of Kaizer Chiefs is the trial system. As I said in the beginning of the video, I am not opposed, like completely opposed to the system itself. I am just against the fact that now we are seemingly using it as the main way of recruiting players, because we're a big team that is supposed to set up systems in place to make sure Uguti, the team always has quality players. You get what I'm saying? Because you have a development system where a lot of young players are there who are not just young players groomed and grown by Kaizer Chiefs, but they are also good enough to compete in the positions at Kaizer Chiefs. We saw this weekend Uguti Umtu Shabalala came in for Umshane who's also from a development. But the young boy who's still in development right now, well, he has a contract with the senior team as well. He comes in, he shows so much confidence, movement of the ball. Even when he's on the ball, you can see I'm not just talking about showboating. I'm talking about his abilities on the ball as well. And you can see, Uguti, the player from the development system knows what he's doing. He's being coached in the development system. And what we have seen with the Kaizer Chiefs in recent years, Uguti, we have a lot of players who come from development, but they end up just disappearing. What happens with those players? Like, they are not sold for anything. And the other thing is they are not played in the first team. If you're enjoying this video, please make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Now, the problem then is why invest so much money into a development year two if you are not going to get the players from development to start playing with Chiefs? Someone will say, but Mpilo, Utuba, Nomtu are playing with Chiefs. Usamgelo Zwane is also playing with Chiefs. But the question is, after how long? After how long? And right now, Sibegui crisis, yes, strike. Not once did we play Utuba. Not once did we play Ushabalal when Caleb was injured. Not once did we play Ushabalala Nomtu before Caleb arrived. We've only played them with Game Arrows. And hopefully, that means Chiefs has changed the way they're approaching things. Hopefully, Umangete now approach is, I'm going to be bold and trust these boys to go out there and perform. But over the years, that's not been the case, Yoguti. We are going to trust the talent that we've developed. Uguti, they are going to go out there and show Uguti they can play and represent the Chiefs at the highest level. Like we have players that we don't know Uguti, where did they go? Like Ukeletso Sefama, even now I know Uguti has had injuries, but at times I didn't know Uguti what was really happening with the boy. And that makes you then question ukuthi, how are we making the bridge between the main team and the development? Because now it seems like the two things are disconnected. Udlala disc challenge and then you just disappear to an empty space. That's not how it's supposed to happen. Now that's the first side of the argument ukuthi we need to make sure ukuthi we connect it development yethu with the main team. But the other thing, we need to set up scouting networks. We need to set up scouting networks. Real Madrid, they just signed to Enric. Enric is 16. Enric is 16. They spent money for a 16-year-old. I think 60 million. 60 million on Enric. That's the same amount of money they spent for Rodrigo. That's the same money also they spend for Vinicius Jr. A lot of money. And I have a guy that I was teaching English, a Brazilian guy, was talking about Guti. That's his team. I forget team Guti. What's the name of the team? Uguti Madrid gets their players and then they pay a lot of money for players who are really young. And it tells you Uguti, they know Uguti, when we go and set up a scouting network in Brazil, we will get good enough players who will come and play at Real Madrid. Now, I'm not saying the Chiefs must go to Brazil as well, but I'm just saying we should have scouting networks. We should have indawo where we know ukuthi we go and we get players from those places. Because angakhuluma about the other point of how we can recruit players. I'm just now talking about setting up scouting networks where we know we will get reliable players who will come and play for Chiefs. A scouting network cannot even, I'm not even talking about Uguti go outside of South Africa. It could be Uguti we're recruiting good talent, players who are good enough, who are playing in South Africa. Uguti, when you see Uguti they have a potential, then you mark them, Uguti, this one, we need to sign that player for Chiefs because they fit in a way that Chiefs plays. I'm not even talking about development. I'm just talking about scouting. You can now talk about moving out of South Africa, setting up a scouting network in Europe, setting out a scouting network in Asia. We're seeing a lot of players coming out of Asia, South America. Set up scouting networks where you will get players that you will sign. And last but not least, it's not really a big deal. This Chiefs is a big team. Chiefs has sponsorships. Chiefs has people who are backing them financially, or so we are told. And we should be seeing our team spend money. Like right now, we're just sitting in the dark and we are supposed to believe Guti, Chiefs has everything under control. They're assessing these players and everything will be fine. I, for one, don't believe that. I really don't believe Uguta. I know Chiefs has everything under control. Chiefs is not just signing players for the sake of signing players. We know that, but I feel like it's just a story that we are being sold because Chiefs does not want to go out and spend good money on good quality players. Because man, you are making it seem like these players who are available are not good enough. Because I will make a good example. Indaba Pulemodi, he has proven in South African football which is good enough and he can perform at that level. Yes, South African football. Are you telling me Gutu Pulemodi is also not good enough? Is that what you're telling me? And for people who are going to say, the players who are being trialed by Chiefs are not free agents. But if a team is willing to let their players go to a trial, that means they don't really value that player that much because they are saying, here, have our player trial. Do you think Usala can just go to Real Madrid and have a trial and Liverpool will just say, go? No team will let their star players go and trial in a team if they really value that player highly. Maybe they're looking at ways of getting rid of them. And yes, those players may come to Chiefs and perform. I'm not saying that they will not perform, but I'm just saying I feel like now we are given something and we're supposed to accept it, although it's not something that we should be like living with and getting used to as Kaizer Chiefs Football Club. We are too big to be settling for just one way Yama transfers, and that is just let's get trials. I for one can't accept that. Maybe you can, but let me know what you think down on the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video, and until next time, remember, equals alphelumoya.